So now here we're going to focus on declaring different variables and different ways that has changed during the time. So before 2015 we used to declare a variable using var. So we only had var before the variable. So for example, we used to call it variable b equals to, for example, 4 semicolon. But after 2015 we also had let, which we can write let n equals 9 semicolon. And so if you're working with the kind of browsers that are related to 2015 and before that, then you need to only use variable or var here. And if you're working with the kind of browsers who have been updated, or they had versions after 2015, or they have been developed after that or got started after 2015, you can use either var, let, or for example you can write h equals to a number like 3. And also after 2015 we had another declaration of the variables, and that is const. And we use const generally for the times that we don't want to change. For example, it's a kind of a rule. It's a kind of a rule inside of your code or program. So for example, you want to say const, for example, length of something, and you know for sure that this length of something could be anything. Length of something is not going to change, and it's always the same. So it's a kind of a rule. So for example, it's 100, and this is going to stay the same. You cannot change it. So for example, you cannot come here and say length of something and now equals to 90, and that doesn't really work, or you may face an error. So with constant variables, you can only define some kind of rules or the things that the variables that are not going to change. And with these three methods, var, let, and nothing before the variable, you can define a variable which is going to change. So if I change h to, for example, 4, it's going to change to 4. Or for this is also the same for variable and let. So this is the way we generally use the declarations. So remember that there's no difference between let and var. The only difference is the version of the browser, and we use const at times that the variables does not change. Also, there is something important to mention here, and that is the sensitivity of JavaScript to the capital and small letter. So for example, if you have h equals 3 and then you have h equals 5, these two are different variables, not the same. So for example, if you write your first name as a variable, for example, name with for example name with small letter and another name with capital letter, these two are different. So try not to mix these two up, because different variables are going to show up, and then it's going to go wrong. So here, let me console.log the h, console.log, oh, here is h, so okay, small h in console.log and parentheses we have capital H. So let's see the result of these two, and also let me comment console.log x at the beginning and other console.logs. So I guess we only have these two comments, also this one as well. Okay, let me save this and let us refresh the page and see what's going to show up. As you can see, what we have 3 and we have 5. So let's see what numbers we gave them. So we had 3 and 5. For the first one, small h, we had 3, and for the capital H, we had 5. So both of them are different from each other. They have separate variables, and so JavaScript is sensitive to the case whether the variable or the letter is written with the small letter or capital letter.